Okay, Shalom Aleichem everyone, a Gemara Chasimatova, a good Geben Shiur. Poschen B'chor Achsanya, as they say. The Gemara says to do, it's not just about being civil. Thank you to the wonderful folks at Daily Giving, dear friend Jonathan, and the amazing team of Chevra who are enabling so much chesed, so much goodness, and bringing together the Jewish people in such an awesome way, helping each other. And to Simcha for such a great initiative. And thank you for including Camp Ask and for giving me the opportunity to spend a little time here together this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whatever time it is in your soul, and whatever time it is in your time zone when we reach each other. There was an older Lubavitcher Yid who lived in London, whose granddaughter was visiting during the summer. And when it came time for her to head back to New York, her grandfather's belachatz. He was stressed out that his granddaughter is going to be traveling and as an unaccompanied minor, and he wrote to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He wrote to his Rebbe for a bracha that she should have a good trip and have a safe trip. He got a response back very quickly from the Rebbe that on the original letter that he sent, the Rebbe edited and crossed out the prefix un crossed out, and added two words so that the phrase would read that my granddaughter is traveling, not unaccompanied, but accompanied, not as a minor, but by Hashem. As the Rebbe said, there's no such thing as an unaccompanied anybody. We're always accompanied by Hashem. A Yid is never alone, and a Jew is always with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The times that we're in now, Bichlal, Befrat, specifically and generally, they're tenuous times. It's unsettling times. The context of pandemic, it's such a crazy word, of magefa, of tension in the air, is exacerbated, is accentuated by the uptick and by the uptick internally that Klal Yisrael's experience and intensity of talking about our lives and the frailty of the human condition, that during the Aseret Yemei Tshuva, the way the Rambam and Chazal describe, Yid is talui v'omed. We're in a holding pattern. We're in between. We don't know what's going to be. There was a judgment that was written on Rosh Hashanah, and we believe that it's for good, daven that it's for good, and it's sealed on Yom Kippur. We also believe in daven that it should be for good. But there's an uncertainty, and there's a heaviness in the air, and there's an intensity in these times that's exacerbated by what we're going through. It's heavy. Belachatz, person feels pressure, and every day slichos, Avinu Malkeinu, Hachzerenu b'tshuva, Shleimah lefanecha, help us come back to you in full tshuva. Avinu Malkeinu mana magefa, manach lasecha, remove this plague from us. Reveal yourself. There's a focus that's taking place, and that focus might not be a transatlantic flight, but certainly feels tenuous and feels pressure. I was thinking earlier that there was about how to deal with lachatz. We're talking in our house, how to deal with pressure. We're also talking how to figure out how to with all the Zoom. The world is zoomed already. I mean, I bless whoever's watching this. Should be well, and it's very nice to be able to connect like this. But it's enough already with the Zooms. We were talking today. There's pressure with everything going on. There's lachatz everyone. We're in a quarantine in our house. Everyone's on lockdown. Can't really go anywhere, and there's not enough computers to go around for everybody to have for their school. There's a lot of pressure, and one of our kids, let out a good "Oh God," like a Ribbono Shel Olam. And what I thought of was a pasuk from Goldah Mitzrayim. It's not comparable exactly, but the experience of just saying Ribbono Shel Olam. And Hashem says, Ra'o ra'isi es ani ami asher b'Mitzrayim. I see that you're suffering. I see what you're going through, Hashem tells us. Ra'o ra'isi, I really see. And the Farshim say that Ra'o ra'isi is Hashem talking to us not just in Mitzrayim, but anytime a Jew feels constricted, anytime a person throughout all of history is going to feel in exile, not where we want to be, not doing what we want to do, and not free to move about and be who we want to be and go where we want to go. Ra'o ra'isi, I really see you. Hashem says, I see you. I want you to feel seen. Ro reisias ami ami b'Mitzrayim. I see what you're going through, this affliction in Mitzrayim. Ve'estza'akasam shamati. And I hear your cries from those who are enslaving you. Ki adati es machavav. I know your pain. I know what's happening. And Hashem tells us, "Ve'ered lahatzila miyad Mitzrayim." I'm going to come down with you there. I'm going to be together with you, and I'm going to redeem you from Mitzrayim. And I'm going to bring you out of that land, out of that place. El Eretz Tova Rechava El Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash. I'm going to take you from there, from Mitzrayim, take you out of Mitzrayim, and bring you to Eretz Yisrael, to an Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, the Eretz Tova Rechava, a place of expansiveness, the promised land, a place of openness that's going to be sweet for you. Va'ata, now, Hinei Tza'akas B'nai Yisrael Ba'ilai. But right now I'm with you. I'm totally with you, Hashem says. In the midst of this constriction, in the midst of this symptom, of this challenging time, I'm with you. V'gam ra'iti et halachatz, and I see the pressure that you're going through. I see the experience of you feeling tight. I see what Hashem Mitzrayim lochatzim otam. I see what you're going through. And then Hashem answers us, because all the suffering, Hashem says, okay, it's for a reason. But when a yid is balachatz, it's already too much, even for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbe Melech, or Noam Elimelech, the Elimelech from Nazhensk, who really was brought the light of the Baal Shem Tov, the third generation after the Tzaddik to Poland, explains in that parsha there, in Parsha Shmos, he brings the Gemara in Brachos and asks a very simple question. Says that it's very encouraging, it's very comforting that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us, and listening to us, and feels our pain, so to speak, and sees what we're going through, and in every exile and in every pain that a Jew is ever going through, this encouragement that Hashem says, I'm with you. Asks the Rebbe Melech, Ma tzarich shevtiach lem Hashem Yisbarach Baruch Hu lahaviyam el Eretz Tova. Why is there a promise in this parsha, in the parsha of Shmos, that Hashem is going to bring us to a place that's good, that's harchava, that's a place that's expansive, to a place that's sweet, that's zavat chalav. Hayadai sheyomar lem sheyotzi'em mitzrayim. It would have been enough that Hashem would have said, I'm going to take you out of Mitzrayim. I'm going to get you out of there. Don't worry. I'm going to take you out of that terrible place. Why the extra continuation in the pasuk? And not only am I going to take you out of that place, I'm going to bring you to Eretz Tova. Not just Tova, but but a place of harchava, a place of expansive. Not just that, but it's zavat chalav udvash. And the Rebbe Melech brings the Gemara in Brachos Daf Lamed. That describes the intention and the intentionality and the directional focus of a Jew who's davening. When a Jew comes to daven, we come to draw close to Hashem. Our place, our physical place makes a big difference. Everyone knows that when we daven, we face toward Eretz HaKodesh. But the way the Gemara describes it is beautiful. Ha'omed b'chutz la'aretz, when a Jew is in chutz la'aretz, wherever it may be, mitpal and coming to stand and davening, yichavin libo keneged Eretz Yisrael. We face toward Eretz Yisrael. What happens if a Jew is in Eretz Yisrael? So ha'omed be'Eretz Yisrael, the Gemara says, so someone who's in Israel is going to face toward Yerushalayim. What happens if a person's in Yerushalayim? What happens if a person's in Baka? There's a neighborhood in Yerushalayim called Baka. What happens if there's a Jew who's davening in Baka? And a lot of good Jews who are davening there. So a Jew is davening in Baka or davening in Sanhedrin Ruchevet or in Ramat Eshkol, whatever they are. So that Jew is going to face toward the Har HaBayit, toward the Temple Mount. And what happens if a person is standing at the Kotel, standing on the porch overlooking the Western Wall? So that Yid is going to face toward the Kodesh HaKadosh. Meaning every single step of the way, the intention is a little bit more specific. Says the Rebbe Melech, why not just say, wherever a Jew is, face the Kodesh HaKadoshim? Why do we have to go through this whole process of if you're here, then there, and then zooming in a little bit more and more and more, focusing in more and more and more? Why not just say, wherever you are in the world, face Kodesh HaKadoshim, v'zeh, and it would have been enough. Says the Rebbe Melech, near the Rabbeinu horu lanu darchei hatfila ba'ofen sheyalu l'ratzon l'fnei Hashem Yisbarach. Our sages were paving the way for us and providing directional signs for us to draw close to Hashem for all generations, to know that if you're standing in Chutz La'aretz, don't just jump straight to the Kodesh HaKadosh. Yid is not where they want to be, and they feel physically far away. The most important thing to do is not to go jump to try to catch the highest place, the highest rung on the ladder. but to go step by step by step. Chutz la'aretz kedushat Yerushalayim yoter me'eretz Yisrael. Yerushalayim is more inside. You can't jump from Chutz la'aretz to Yerushalayim. You get to Chutz la'aretz, the land first at the port at Haifa, or at the port at Akko, or at the port at Ashdod, or at Natbag and Ben Gurion, and only then make the journey toward Yerushalayim. When we get to Yerushalayim, then you make the journey to the Old City. From the Old City, then to the Har Bayit. The Har Bayit, then to turn toward the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Because it's certain, the Rebbe Melech says, that it's not possible for a person to grab onto the highest levels of an achievement in Kedusha, b'pam echad, in one shot. Rak tzarich leilech madrega lemadrega. We go step by step by step in Kedusha. We're learning from Rebbe Melech the way we deal with anxiety, the way we deal with stress, the way we deal with pressure, the way we feel with being overwhelmed, the way we feel with this incredible goal of we want to get to Ne'ilah on Yom Kippur and say Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokim, with such certainty. We want the bottom line of Salachti K'Tvarecha. We want to be in this book of life. We want to inscribe ourselves for a life of good. So we have to know that this such thing is steps by steps. First we have Elul, then we have Rosh Hashanah, then we have Aser Simei Tshuva, then we have Yom Kippur, then we have Yom Tov of Sukkot, we have Hoshana Rabbah, Zman Simcha Seinu, etc., etc., etc. And to know that along the way, every single step is significant. Every single move that we make in Yiddishkeit, every kol tnuah, every ratzon, every desire, every intention, every sur meirah, every time that we hold ourselves back from doing something which is inappropriate, every moment that we hold on, we hold the puck and don't say lashon hara, every moment that we strive to sit in tefillah, that we strive to judge favorably, every moment that we keep Shabbos with all of our intention, we hold on to a little bit more of Shabbos to Tosefet Shabbat. Every single intention, every action, every thought, every word, every little bit, every step toward Kedusha is something which is important, is something which is significant. And that's the way it's done, step by step by step. Rabbi Nachman describes the incredible journey that the whole world is waiting to take toward Tikkun Olam. That's our goal. Our goal is to fix the world. We want to perfect the world. We want there to be a world of peace. We want there to be a world where things are in balance. We want there to be a world where Malach Haaretz De'as Hashem. So Rabbi Nachman says that the way that pathway leads with him through the Hachtara, through the coronation of Hashem on Rosh Hashanah, with him and Ummah. Now, there were a couple of guys who asked Rabbi Nachman, said, like, listen, it's not so easy to get there. And especially this year, a lot of people had good intentions and tried and brought Rabbi Nachman to wherever they were, but physically weren't able to make it. But there was a lot of planning and frustration. Replace this with whatever metaphor in your life is a goal for yearning for Kiddush Hashem, for Kedusha, for connectivity, for Dveikus. There were a couple of Yidden. There was Rabbi Yudel and Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Yudel and Rabbi Shmuel Isaac came to Rabbi Nachman and described the hardship that was going on in their journey from Dashav to Lemedvedevka. And in Ukraine, they were having a very difficult time. There was a lot of manios, there were a lot of things that were holding back their journey. I don't know if it was Corona time or it was a visa issue or borders were closed or whatever it may be. But they were struggling. It was taking them a long time, and they got stuck in Medvedevka. Now, imagine every one of us in our own way is trying to reach a certain goal. Every one of us wants to get to a certain place. We want to get to that certain, we want to finish that book or get that prize or hit that finish line or hit that goal in our weight loss or make that siyum or whatever it may be. We're all striving to get to some place, to our own little Medvedevka. And they turned to their Rebbe, they turned to Rabbeinu, asking for chizuk, looking for a little bit of a good word. And Rabbi Nachman says, whether you make it or not, whether you get to the bottom line or not, I yearn for and I miss the drachim shalom. I miss the journey, the process. I trust the process of it. I trust the process that you take. And it's not just that I trust the general idea, the notion of a process. I'm not just giving you a meme to put on social media, but I trust the process of the journey to me. Va'amar, Rabbi Nachman says, and it's brought in Shivchera, Shebechol psia upsia shalahem, that in every step that you take, every single step on the journey, Kishanasa Elev Nivra Malach Benkol Psia Psia. Nachman says you're creating angels, malachim. You're creating malachim every single step you take toward this goal of coming close to him. He said all of the yigios, all of the struggles, and all the hassle, and all the difficulty, and all the effort that you put into reaching this destination, every psia, it's called pschar psios in halacha. Every step that we take toward shul, every step that we take toward our goal in Yiddishkeit, whatever that goal may be, it's called schar psiot. And Rabbi Nachman said, even the schar, even the effort that you took to go find the coach and hire to get the bus ticket and to make the plane ticket and to try to think about how you're going to get there in the schedule, every single one of those steps creates an angel, creates a malach. And he said, on the way to Uman for Rosh Hashanah, I yearn for, and I bless you to have the merit or behirut haderech. You should have or behirut haderech, to see the clear and radiant light, the illumination of the roads, how the roads themselves are illuminated, how the pathway of the journey is illuminated by all the steps that you take to come spend time with me. Now, if it's true coming to the tzaddik, then it's true on an internal level to us, yearning for and working towards self-actualization and revealing the Or HaTzadik that rests within us, to opening all of those places inside of us that are waiting to shine, that are waiting to express themselves in Sur Meirah and Aseh Tov, in projects of Torah and Chesed and Tzedakah and Avodas Hashem and Tefillah, and in every single aspect of personality development and Midos Tovos. The Or Behirus Haderech, the beauty, the shining light, the illumination, the radiance of the journey, of the traveling, of every single step. It doesn't go, you end up going from Woodmere and Bergen County and Bar Park to go directly from there to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. But it takes time to first go from there, from Chutz La'aretz to Eretz Yisrael. When we get to Eretz Yisrael, the person has to come and go through the steps, step by step, from the airport to Shleimah, to stop off and get a coffee on the way. And then get to Yerushalayim. Then to get to Yerushalayim, so then we get to the old city. We get to the old city, we get to Har Bayit. When we get to Har Bayit, then we get to the Kodesh Kodashim. And every step of the way, if we are aware, if our eyes are open, we'll see Or Behirut Haderech. We'll see the radiance of the journey. Now, there's actually a beautiful chapter, Nefesh HaChaim, or Chaim Volozhner, describes exactly what it means to create malachim, what it means to create angels. It explains that with all of our thoughts and all of our words, and all of our actions, we create a spiritual reality. We create a certain force in the world. That's called a malach. Rivkah explains this in a number of places. He doesn't quote the Nefesh HaChaim, but it's very clear that it's coming from there. That whenever we have malachim in Torah, Yaakov Avinu sending forth malachim, or the sorrow, fighting with the sorrow shel Esav, what he's sending forth is the merit of his actions, the merit of his deeds, the merit of his hachlatot, of his efforts in Kedusha, a force in the world, something into the world. Isn't that what the Gemara describes, that when we set our table and we prepare for Shabbos, when we come home from shul, the malachim come with us, or we come in from the backyard, or we come in from the back room, or whatever it is, and the malachim see that the table is set, they say, halavai, it should be like this next week. What are these malachim? Then we say, shalom aleichem malach yasharis, and then we say, Barchuni l'shalom, and then we say Tzeitzchem l'shalom. Like Shelomo explained, we're sending away the malachim of last week, and we're welcoming the malachim of new week. What are these malachim? What are these angels? And who are these malachim yechafezun that we're talking about during the high holidays? That these angels are interceding, and these angels are taking our tefillos, and the machnise rachamim angels, and these angels. The malachim, the Nefesh HaChaim explains are our thoughts, our words, and our deeds, the spiritual force that we put into the world, what we create with our intentions, what we create with our kavanah, what we create with the steps that we take in Kedusha, the step by step that we take in the world of Avodas Hashem, are malachim, are angels. Maral explains that on Yom Kippur, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be doma l'malach. We're trying to live with the emunah, with the belief that we are putting our best foot forward, and that we're expressing that part of ourselves, which are all of our holy intentions. So we don't eat, we don't drink, we're doma l'malach, so to speak. Husbands and wives aren't together. We don't wear, the formal leather shoes to disconnect ourselves from the earth, the way that And malachim, so to speak, are completely mechubar and not moving anywhere. We're not walking anywhere. We're not going. Malachim are completely stationary. There's no meaning of growth by malachim. We're completely standing where we are and wearing a kittel and all day davening and so to speak, living for a day, completely detached from the physical world. We're trying to awaken ourselves that emunah, that belief that we are our greatest ritzonos, and we're channeling the kedusha of the Kohen Gadol. We're entering into the internal world of the dimension of Yechida, where most our core selves are expressed, where that which distracts us and that which maybe turns our focus on ourselves is removed from the equation on Yom Kippur, and our connectivity to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to our ratzon to be close to Hashem, to be in the Kodesh HaKadoshim literally, is revealed. On Yom Kippur, it's all the psios that we took, all the steps that we took, the whole or behirut haderech, all the radiance and illumination of the journey of the pathway, brings us from wherever we are directly into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. On Yom Kippur, we kind of leave the human condition of eating, of drinking, of being intimate, of getting ourselves dressed and washing ourselves and putting on makeup and wearing shoes to feel stable and to move and to go. And instead, we try to be domel malach. And that way, the general hanhaga of step-by-step growth is something which is not part of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, we go straight to Yechida, straight to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. We manifest the holiness of the Kohen Gadol himself inside the Holy of Holies on the highest day, Echad B'Shana, in the highest day, in the highest place, in the highest moment. And that's what we are. We reveal that's our ultimate ratzon, is to be in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So whether we're outside, or really outside throughout the year, and we're working step by step to get there, on Yom Kippur, we're there. On Yom Kippur, we're there. Rav Aaron Soloveitchik Zatzal, Gedolei Ador, Rosh Hashiva in Brisk, Chicago, and at Yeshiva University, was one of the great contributors to Jewish thought in the last generation. They don't have the books; they're very, very worthwhile, very important books. My brother-in-law Rav Ari put together the Sichos in English of Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, Logic of the Heart, Logic of the Mind. Phenomenally insightful and relevant. Timeless classic work of Rav Aaron's thought. In 1983, Rav Aaron Soloveitchik Zatzal suffered a stroke that left him paralyzed on the left side of his body, and he was in constant physical agony. When I was at YU in the mid 90s, Rav Aaron Zatzal was coming every week from Chicago, would fly in to give her his shiur, to deliver his shiur at YU. And there would be different guys, different talmidim, usually his grandson, Rav Shmuel Marcus, or his cousin, one of the Magidei Shiur, Rav in Queens, and one of the Magidei Shiur in Landers, one of the great Talmidei Chachamim in the United States today, really Erlich Yid, especially Yid. Shmuley would walk Rav Aaron from the car into the Beis Medrash with excruciating pain in every single step. Sometimes I remember my old classmate, Rav Dov Stark, would have that schus, and others. And I remember standing in the hallway there by the Sfard Minyan 101, in the hallway while you were just watching Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, just to see his face, the face of Mesiras Nefesh coming in from the car, going out to the car. It was something I would leave shiur or leave whatever was happening just to go watch Rav Aaron. And it was Rav Shmuel Marcus once described how he was at his grandparents in Chicago, and he was behind his grandfather Zatzal Rav Aaron, and he was going. They had a big like circular U staircase leading from the downstairs to the upstairs, and there was like a 20 steps of this like big circular staircase going upstairs, and he was behind his grandfather watching very carefully, and he observed his zaidi, muttering something under his breath. And every time he forced his left foot, the paralyzed side, in front of his right foot, each of those one of those 20 steps, Rav Aaron would say, would grunt to himself, "Achas." They take the next step, "Achas va'achas," and the next step, "Achas u'shtayim." The same way that the Kohen Gadol would count when he was sprinkling blood on the altar during the avodah lifnai lifnim on the avodah of Yom Kippur, Echad B'Shana. That's the way Reb Aaron saw his avodah. Achas, achas v'achas, achas v'shtayim, achas v'shalosh. He understood in his constant pain, the last 18 years of his life, he literally saw every single step that he was taking within his Mesiras Nefesh as an act of avodah. And maybe he saw himself, so to speak, in his ritzonos and the or behirus haderech of his psios, no different than the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur. And Reb Shelomo always say, shining with the light of the high priest, if we would only realize that we are our ritzonos, that more than our actions and more than our failures and more than our successes, we are what we want to be. And even if we're far, far, far in Chutz La'aretz, and we're yearning to get to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, as long as we have our mind on that goal, that I want to get to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, I want to reach that, I want to accomplish that place of Dveikus, that place in Midos development, that place in sensitivity, that place in generosity, that place in Kibbud Av V'Eim, that place in Yirat Shamayim, that place in Shmiras Einayim, that place in Talmud Torah, that place in Tefillah, just to be an Erlich person, whatever that place is that our goal is in Kodesh HaKadoshim, our Ratzon is, and I really believe that I want to be that, I'm there. I have to go through the steps, step by step by step, in order to get there. But Yom Kippur reveals a moment where I could be Domel Malach, where I could literally be there. I could literally be there in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. I'm there. And then for the rest of the year, I could unpack that and believe that in my moment-to-moment Mesiras Nefesh, in my moment-to-moment Ritzonos, b'chol psia upsia, every single step toward holiness, especially when I feel lachutz, especially when I feel pressure, especially when I feel like overwhelmed, especially when I feel like traveling across the Atlantic, as an unaccompanied minor. I can remember that there's no such thing as being by myself, as that the Or Yechida means that Hashem is always with me, and that I am my greatest ritzonos. If we see that every step of our journey, that every single step of our journey is bringing us closer and closer to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and that if we believe in our ritzonos, in our higher selves, we believe that we are revealing the Kedusha of the Kohen Gadol from within. We can see the Or HaBehiras HaDerech, and the way to the Tzaddik, and the way to revealing the Tzaddik inside of us. And everything we do, every single intention and avoda, and every single moment and effort that we make is something that'll be precious and meaningful to us, because it's precious and meaningful to Hashem. May we believe in our Hishtadlus. May we believe this Aseret Yemei Tshuva and this Yom Kippur in our efforts. And know that Hashem is with us, accompanying us. When we go in, we come out throughout the year into our own Chutz La'aretz and Eretz Yisrael, our own places of outside and inside, our own places of holiness and places that feel far from holiness. We should know that Hashem is always with us in those places. And there are always malachim that we're creating that are accompanying us wherever we go. And Amir Hashem, this Yom Narayim, we should believe that we've paved the beautiful road toward the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and God willing, Hashem will reveal for us an Or Behiras HaDerech, a beautiful shining pathway, a radiant light that illuminates our way toward the Holy of Holies. And Ritz Hashem will believe it a little bit also. And God willing, will be zoche to a Gemar Chasima Tova and a Kut Gebench